There are many aspects of high school that students at Wayzata overlook. However, the most apparent one is a lack of teacher diversity. Throughout our 12 years of education, it has become increasingly evident that a lack of teachers of color is a serious problem at Wayzata. We looked closely at the situation at Wayzata High School and sought out the different perspectives of individuals that are a part of the Wayzata High School community. Before we conducted our interviews, it was essential to research the empirical evidence to justify that this is in fact an issue. When looking at the Wayzata School District demographics page, the statistics are alarming. In 2015, the Wayzata School District was 69% white, 17% Asian and Pacific Islander, 9% Black, 4% Hispanic, and less than 1% American Indian and Alaskan Native. Yet there's only one teacher of color at Wayzata High School, and she will be leaving at the end of the 2016 school year. We asked a number of individuals how diverse the teacher population is, and here are their responses.
Not at all diverse, really.
To be honest, I don't think it is at all. I think there's only 2 black teachers that I know of.
Not very.
I think I only ever had one African American teacher, and I think there's only one other minority teacher, isn't there?
One black teacher in the school, and she's leaving. So, and everyone else is white.
It's not diverse at all.
So we have one teacher of color at Wayzata High School, and we have one administrator of color, and then you have Mr. Bird and myself, who are both considered not administrators, but part of the administration.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awful.
Before we start our interviews, we want to give you guys some background knowledge of the teacher we will be referring to many times during this documentary. Mrs. Hosian, also an English teacher at Wayzata High School, is the only African American teacher who teaches at Wayzata High School, but she is leaving at the end of the 2016 school year. First, we interviewed Patricia Gibson, a senior at Wayzata who has been personally affected by the racial imbalance amongst the teachers. We asked her what her experience has been like as an African American at Wayzata High School who has had primarily white teachers throughout her 4 years.
As a black girl, I feel like I need more black teachers because they sort of understand more. With white teachers, sometimes they don't know how to talk to a black student. They walk on eggshells when they're talking to a black student than when they're talking to an actual white person. So, I think the teacher didn't expect me to do my homework, but I did. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, good job, Patricia."
Next, we interviewed Mr. Ferry, an English teacher as well as the department chair for the English department at Wayzata High School. We asked him if he thought the school is meeting the needs of all of its students with the current lack of diversity amongst the teachers, as well as his thoughts about Ms. Hosian leaving Wayzata.
No, we're not meeting the needs of all our students. We do the best that we can, but as hard as I try, and I've told this to my students, I can't relate to them in a way that a teacher of color might be able to relate to them. So it's difficult. I'm very sad that Ms. Hosian is leaving. I've got a very close relationship with her. I spend my prep block every day, first block, in her room. We have collaborated on both courses, both short fiction and adventure story. She's a wonderful teacher. She develops great relationships with her students. She's someone that kids look up to, someone that kids see themselves in, and it's a big loss for us, for her to go.
Lastly, we interviewed Joyce Hayden, a member of the administration at Wayzata High School. We asked her if the lack of racial diversity amongst the teachers has contributed to the large achievement gap at Wayzata, as well as if we are meeting the needs of all the students.
I do, because students tend to learn better when they're better engaged. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to be engaged when you're being taught and surrounded by people who have nothing in common with you. So I think that contributes a great deal.
Yeah.
We're not meeting the needs at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty sad. If we could have more teachers of color, and I mean every color, we need more teachers representing everyone. Mm-hmm. In addition to meeting the needs of students of color, it's nice for white students to have that counterbalance to hear different perspectives and to gain knowledge in a different way. Because everybody's different, but I'm going to bring different experiences that my white counterpart won't bring. I'm going to have experiences and stories and anecdotal, information that you wouldn't hear from a white person. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So we do need to really address that.
The final question we asked was, what can Wayzata High School do in order to help solve this problem?
I think what Gingler needs to do is hire more black people in this school.
I had the answer. I think we need to be more active in recruiting teachers of color. I don't think we get the resumes or the applications for those teachers. I know they're out there. Ms. Hosian came from the St. Paul school system, so that may be a place to go. Minneapolis school system. I think it probably involves going out to job fairs and being more active in our recruitment of those kids. I've been here 9 years, and I've seen the faces of the student body change a great deal in that time, and they will continue to. I think we have 800 students now per grade. By the time my son graduates, there'll be 1,000.
I think that Wayzata needs to go to an institution, I don't care which one it is, but an institution where there are a significant number of teachers of color graduating and develop a relationship with that institution. That way you have that institution and the students that are there, that are graduating and who are coming up through the ranks, have an understanding, a better understanding of who Wayzata is and what we're looking for. Because if you just are waiting on applications to come in, if I'm applying for a job and I see Wayzata and then I look at the statistics, I'm going to go, why would I go there? Because that's a real uphill battle for a lot of people. And then, if you're not recruiting from literally right here in Minnesota, then where do you go? People from outside of the state are going to say, I'm going to go there and I'm going to be the only one of color. That's a pretty tough battle. So I think that developing a relationship with a school or schools that are graduating larger numbers of teachers of color and having them be aware of what we bring to the table, what our standards are, what our dynamics are, what our goals are, would be really important. That way, we could get 3, 4, 5 students at a time every year versus maybe the occasional one that happens to put in the application.